Big news, big news, big news. This is no longer Deadass Radio because Deadass Podcast is already a thing. This is a lesson in always Googling your brand before going public. So from this episode forward, we will be called Dead Culture Radio or Dead Culture Podcast, just Dead Culture. I continue to be dead, coming to you live from a recording made in your past. Other news: we have a Patreon. My upload schedule and everything kind of demands that if I'm gonna do this podcast, I need to be able to pay for a podcast hosting service. And because I'm a stay-at-home dad with no income, it would be really cool to make at least $12 a month so I can pay for the podcast. Shout out to Rhea for being our first Patreon supporter, our first pledgee, or pledger. I guess I'm the pledgee. Anyway, for today's episode, it's really long. If you noticed, this episode's probably going to be an hour long or more. We got some real talkers. We're going to finish up our mini-series on our teardowns at the Noise Show. And then our second interview is going to be with a weirdo that I met at the walking track, a religious fanatic who... I was going to introduce the second interview in the mid-roll. Whatever. I'll figure out something to do in the mid-roll. Enjoy the first interview. Hi, I'm Dead. I'm here with Dead 2, who's making me walk. We're doing a bit where I bug people while they're tearing down after a set. How was your set?
I hope it went over well.
Yeah?
I know the wall was good. I am proud of that. I just haven't done proper performance art in a long time.
What do you think the purpose of art is?
One of my favorite quotes about art is that it's to comfort the disturbed and to disturb the comfortable. I don't know if that's necessarily the purpose of art, but this is the purpose of a lot of art, for sure.
Yeah?
I think it can have a lot of purposes.
You think it's subversive?
It can be. I hope so. I mean, I'm sure there's art that isn't necessarily subversive that's fun to consume, I was a brony.
Ed, Ed, Nettie.
Ed Nettie's good. Ed Nettie is subversive in some ways. In very small ways, but in some ways. I guess they all are, come to think of it. But you know what I mean. When we say subversive, we're talking about real big shit, not
What do you think the most subversive thing about My Little Pony is?
It's a children's show, got an audience of primarily adult men, and they managed to cater to that audience in a way that they all really appreciated while still being a show for children.
Sure.
And it's a very tight line to walk, and I think they did it pretty well.
And there's a lot of porn of it.
There is a lot of porn of it. It makes the original creator, it makes her really mad. She screamed at a dude at a fest about it. He was like, "Oh, there's some there's a guy at a Q&A. He's like, there's some inherently sexual tones in it." And she was like, "People like you need to stop fucking coming to these things."
How do you feel about AI porn of real people?
Pretty bad.
So you think the new regulation is appropriate?
Is this a trick question, or are you just asking?
What would... I don't ask trick questions.
Okay, I mean, if there's regulation in place or going to be in place to say you can't make AI porn of real people, that's good to me.
Yeah, it just passed. It was the first AI regulation ever passed was that you can't make AI porn of people without their consent.
I'd love to see how it's be difficult to enforce it.
Extremely.
But I'm glad that there's a law in the books at least, It's better than not having one.
There was an epidemic of high schoolers taking pictures of each other, or taking Facebook pictures or Instagram pictures of their classmates and then, AI undressing them.
Yeah, Jesus. I knew a lot of kids in high school that would have done that if that technology was available at the time.
Right.
So they got to do something about it, because that's child pornography.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know why the fuck we're like this. I don't know. I thought AI was gonna be cool initially when it was first coming out.
Right.
It's just it's like I don't think I'm being a boomer about it necessarily, but it's just like, nor do I think I'm being like Scott Adams about it, where I'm like, I'm smart and everyone else is stupid. But I've been working customer service for a long time, and I understand people have always thought people are stupid in customer service, but like, there is some very basic stuff that people don't seem to understand that makes me really worried. I see it a lot, like just online too. A lot of people are using ChatGPT and shit to just like pass their tests for them. There's really nothing you can do about it. And where does that leave us, like, knowledge-wise?
Right.
Like, I hate stupid people, but it's not good to have people who don't know anything. You know, I worked at Jimmy John's for a long time, and there was a guy that came in about the same age as me, if not a little bit younger. He could, white American kid, I should say. This isn't like a jab at someone with an accent. He couldn't pronounce gargantuan. That's not a hard word.
Right.
He was like, that one, you can see it. I'm like, say it, dude.
How do you feel when people are buying cigarettes and they call Leggets legits?
How is it spelled?
Haven't you ever sold a pack of Leggets?
Actually, no. I don't think I have. I've worked at some gas stations. But, you know, they don't all have the same ones.
Leggett cigarettes.
Is it spelled like the Caesar's Legion Leggets?
I'm going to feel really stupid if it's legit cigarettes. Legit cigarettes. L-I-G-G-E-T.
I'd accept either pronunciation of that word. I'd probably say Liggett, though.
Liggett cigarettes pronunciation.
Well, I hope it knows. Where's my, one moment.
Well, this AI told me it's pronounced Liggett.
It's just pronounced Lig?
Liggett.
Liggett.
With the emphasis on the lig.
Instead of Liggett.
My nuts!
That was pretty good, man.
Would you rather have feet for hands or hands for feet?
Ooh, that's a good question. I like being able to use my hands. So I guess hands for feet. I wouldn't be able to walk around anymore. That's fine. There are plenty of people that can't walk around.
Sure.
And I don't want to be able to not like grab things and manipulate objects in my hands.
Right.
I
feel like you could still bicycle.
You'd have to be really careful, but yeah, you totally could.
Because like people in wheelchairs, in the bicycle wheelchairs, they pedal with their hands.
Oh, one of those? Yeah, for sure then. If it's one of those deals.
I mean, you just take the spikes, I don't know, you just file down the spikes on the pedals. I feel like you could do it.
Yeah. Yeah, you totally could if you wanted to. If you were that dedicated to bicycling after having your feet turned into hands, you'd have that option available to you.
Are you familiar with the pilot episode of Dexter's Laboratory?
Vaguely.
It's the one where, like, the climax of the episode is that Dee Dee gets gargantuized. Mm-hmm. And Dexter tries to fight her with, like, a mech, you know?
Okay, yeah, that sounds familiar.
And she, like, beats him up or, like, destroys his mech or whatever, takes him out of there. And then there's a scene where, like, he's in her palm and he's, like, admonishing her while she undresses him down to his underwear and then dresses him in girl's clothes while he protests.
You know, that explains a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's refreshing to think that, like, Gendy Tarkovsky thought of that. Or is it Gendy? Whatever. Gendy Tarkovsky's thought of that.
Right.
You know, that isn't an idea necessarily that, like, that's a conclusion that anyone could have come to at any point in history. I feel like any fetish, you just have to have someone who's a pervert that thinks for long enough.
Yeah, I remember feeling, like, disturbed and aroused as a child.
You get that a lot with, like, a lot of stuff that's going to become a fetish later in your life.
Right. I really wished I had a big sister who would forcibly undress me while I protested.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like, because also in your little kid brain, like, what other version of that would there be? You wouldn't think to add more details. Just like, yeah, exactly what happened on the screen just now.
Right. What other sexual situations do you think children think of?
I remember thinking a lot about I'm not into vor, but when I was a kid, I had a flyleaf. My family wasn't Christian, but we did like new metal. We had like a flyleaf single CD that also, it was enhanced, it had like a music video.
I'm extremely curious how this relates to vor.
The singer had a crop top on, and that awakened something in me.
Right.
Seeing a woman's stomach like
Right.
that, and it was flat and it was nice.
Right.
And then my immediate child brain thought was like, wouldn't it be nice to be in her stomach, like next to like a eaten apple core?
Right.
And I've never again wanted to be eaten.
Right. Just by the lead singer of Flyleaf.
Well, no, not even that. Just that like I still am very enamored with stomachs.
Right.
So there's also, I feel like, some like steps your brain goes through. It's like that it'll refine out later. Like maybe that isn't part of it for me. Do you know the internet user whose is a weirdly specific fetish that they make art about is characters mid spinning?
Mid spinning.
Yeah, like when you like draw someone spinning and it like a top in motion, you like see like the line that's their arm and the line that's their eyes.
It's all distorted, yeah.
Yeah, they will just draw like characters from media in that exact position. There's just hundreds of them.
Huh.
I respect the fuck out of that guy. He knows what he likes. He's good at drawing it, and it's not actually gross or weird. It's just people spinning. I think people spinning, that's a pretty good weird fetish. No one gets hurt. It's all good.
At first I thought you were like spinning yarn, like someone like spinning a spool of yarn.
That's probably out there too.
Yeah. How do you feel about anthropomorphic cows if you like stomach stuff? I mean, 4 stomachs, is that 4 times as attractive?
No, because you know what's always weirded me out about cows?
What?
Is udders.
Uh-huh.
Have always been gross to me.
Sure.
They've always, especially like the show I watched that exposed me to udders the most. Also, my grandparents are cattle farmers, but not of dairy cows, but still. Was Back of the Barnyard, where everyone has all these big pink udders. And they didn't necessarily gross me out, but they remind me of like big 4-pronged zit.
Right.
So like cow furry stuff, I have a hard time getting into because it's like, ugh.
Right.
And also, anytime anyone puts tits a place that it isn't on a human,
Like stomachs.
or in the My Little Pony like porn fan base, anatomically, horse teats are next to their vagina.
Really?
So you'll get a lot of My Little Pony porn where they have huge human tits around their pussy.
Ah.
And that's really gross to me.
Sure. Well, you could get a tit job while you're doing intervaginal sex.
Well, yeah, no, I understand what the appeal of it is in theory, but I don't want, or like, you know, a lot of people like multiple tits or like 3 tits.
I mean, that's something that maybe you don't like looking at visually, but you can understand. Like, you could, if in real life, if you blindfolded yourself and got a tit job while you were having intervaginal sex, that, you know, it would feel good.
Probably.
Yeah, like, you know, on an intellectual level, you can understand that.
Yeah, intellectually. But like visually, I can't get over it, so it's not something I would readily masturbate to.
Right.
What else?
I don't. Wayne's looking at us like.
Podcast question for you. Like, right home.
Did Mason leave without you?
Oh, I guess not. Okay, I can get Mason.
If that's okay with you. And make sure you take the test cam back with you.
I'd be happy to take you too. You want to?
I just want to go sit down.
That's real as hell.
What's the weirdest thing that you've masturbated to?
I can't say.
I mean, this is anonymous.
Did you hear all the stuff I just said?
What is the weirdest thing I ever masturbated to?
While you're thinking about it, would you rather have sex in a U.S. Army tank or an air balloon?
Air balloon?
While it's in the air or landed?
In the air is a bit too risky for me. It's a bit scary. Grounded, please.
They say fear is the mind killer.
This is true.
You like Dune?
Dune?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah?
I haven't finished it.
It's pretty homophobic.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Harkonnens are coded as very gay and and pedophilia.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, they're gay pedophiles.
Not even coded. The Baron Harkonnen literally like rapes a small boy. in one of the books.
I've never interpreted it as that. I've never interpreted it as that he's gay, just that he's a predator. And there happens to be
That's
a
the
lot.
same thing. It's the 1960s.
Yeah, but there.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah. Great set. Great show.
I'm going to wrap this up before someone regrets something.
No regrets.
Why can't I hear things? I have it muted. There we go. I am listening back to these interviews. I'm constantly flabbergasted by what a degenerate myself and everyone I know is, which isn't going to change with this next interview. This individual is also a degenerate. But on some level, whether we admit it or not, whether we show it to the world or not, I think we are all degenerates in some way, and I think that's okay. As long as your degeneracy isn't harming anyone that doesn't deserve it, maybe. I think if you're gonna harm someone, you shouldn't do it in a degenerate way. If it's in self-defense or something. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. What am I talking about? There's no topic in this damn podcast. Yeah, enjoy this next interview. It's a doozy. Hi, it's dead here. The air is choked by the smoke of Canadian wildfires, and my butt hurts from having loose bowels all morning, and I'm here with Dead 2. Dead 2, how are you doing?
Man, better than you, it sounds like.
I mean, well,
hallelujah, I guess,
hallelujah. What is your religious affiliation?
Yeah, I'm a third generation Orthodox Catholic. My ancestors were from the plains of Russia, deep in the tundra to the east. Siberia they call it nowadays. They didn't call it then.
What do they call it then?
Eastern Russia, I guess. Eastern Russia.
Yeah, do you know any Russian?
No.
Da.
Didn't speak it in my household.
No? What did you speak in your household?
English.
Yeah? How do you feel about English becoming the official language of the United States?
I think that's great. I kind of thought it was kind of already, a little self-evident. We all speak English, right?
Well, that's just kind of it. It was like self-evident that most people speak English, so we didn't need to make it our official language. We didn't have an official language. That's kind of a European thing. But yeah, no, Donald Trump.
He's scared, dude.
He's scared?
Scared, yeah.
What do you think Donald Trump is most afraid of?
English going away.
English going away.
Yeah, that's why you have to put it up on a pedestal and say it's the official, because oh God, if we don't acknowledge it, it's going to go away.
I do know.
It's fucked up. It ain't right. Jesus never went away. That's what it said in the Bible, on the Eastern Orthodox one. They said Jesus. They actually stopped. In the original Bible, they actually didn't say his name the entire New Testament because they weren't afraid of him going away. They didn't need that kind of artificial backing. They weren't scared. Okay, Paul wasn't a fucking coward.
Like Donald Trump.
Like Donald Trump. Donald Trump ain't no Paul.
That's true.
He's more like Saul. He's a crook. He's a crooked guy. Like Saul Goodman. I love that show, though.
Yeah, I've never watched Saul Goodman. That's Better Call Saul.
Yeah, Better Call Saul.
But I watched some Breaking Bad. I haven't finished it.
That's okay. You don't need to, because you should just watch Better Call Saul. It's better.
Is it better?
It is. That's my take. It is better. Prove me wrong. You can.
What is where's Better Call Saul on the timeline of Breaking Bad?
It happens before it gives his backstory before the events of Breaking Bad, but it also kind of intersplices some aftermath of Breaking Bad in there.
Oh, so it does the whole back and forth timeline thing?
Yep.
Do you like that mechanic?
I think it's fine. It's interesting because the character's good, the writing was good, so it was fine. I think you can have any kind of thing as long as the subject matter is good. I don't think how you present it.
Can you think of a piece of media that did it poorly?
No.
Well,
because Better Call Saul is the only one that's ever done it.
And they did it right.
Hell yeah.
What do you think of the Wonder Woman movie?
Which one?
The first one.
I thought it was okay. I don't remember much of it, but the feeling I get was that I didn't hate it. So
I really enjoyed when she went to World War II.
Did you? I don't. That was kind of funny because that's all fiction. World War II never happened.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Are you a Holocaust denier or a World War II denier?
Deny something that never happened.
I think you can. I think you deny that it happened.
I deny that World War II happened.
Yeah.
In every subfolder within that folder. So, what's the point of saying my documents doesn't exist when my computer never existed?
Does Germany exist?
Germany? No.
Russia exist?
Yes, of course. Eastern Russia.
Well, Russia was in World War II.
Were they?
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. I don't know about that. I mean, that's not what I was taught.
Yeah,
There were no wars, except for the Great One. And then every war after that just didn't count.
the social strain of fighting World War II is a big reason. Oh shit! Now I'm gonna get my history wrong. I think it was World War One.
With what?
I think the strain of World War One is what kind of weakened the government enough for the Soviets to take over, and the Soviets took part in World War II.
I don't think they were the Soviets back then, though. If it happened, I don't think the Soviet was around in 1940 something, was it?
Oh God, I can't remember.
The Soviet Union happened after World War II. If it happened, if there were a World War II.
God, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know, dude. Shout out ChatGPT.
ChatGPT. When did the Soviet Union get crushed by capitalism?
Sorry, but I can't help with that query because you need to say facts.
How do you feel about
Now, if we
capitalism?
want to explore an alternative history, then I think it was probably around 1980 something.
1980 something?
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about the 80s? What came out of the 80s that you like?
Switching to a different model, you've exceeded your question limit.
That's fine. This model is fine.
Okay. But what I like about the 80s, I wasn't really around in the 80s. I like synths. I think synths are the best thing to come out of the 80s. Improved synths, because you can't get, that classic, 70s, wee, 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 wee kind of shit. Amazing. I loved it. But that's all they did. That's the only sound it made was wee, wee, wee. The 80s kind of pushed it forward.
What are they even synthesizing at that point?
World War II, I guess. I don't know.
Is that what World War II allegedly sounded like?
Allegedly, yeah, from my understanding. People are always like, oh, explosions and guns and communism and shit. And how he was wee, 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 in little trailer John Deere tractors.
A synthesized sound of a thing that doesn't exist.
Correct.
Just like World War II.
Just like World War II.
It's a simulation inside a simulation.
Holy shit, isn't that crazy? It's like one of those, like my grandmother had those, the nesting dolls, It's like a nesting doll.
Right.
Very
A
cool.
matryoshka.
Matryoshka, yeah. See, but I didn't know that word because we didn't speak Russian because it's English all the way, baby.
The matryoshka doll relic in Slay the Spire. I believe the next 2 non-boss chests you open give you an extra relic.
I think so. I mean, that sounds like thematically what a Matryoshka doll would do in that context.
Because there's a relic inside a relic.
Yeah, right. No, I think that sounds great. I love sandwiches. My favorite kind of sandwich recently has been Spam and jalapenos.
Spam.
Yeah, Spam, yep. Or luncheon, I guess. Luncheon meat, I guess the off-brand is called.
Oh, really? There's an off-brand Spam?
Mm-hmm.
Spam seems pretty off-brand to begin with.
It sure does, but apparently people, it's so off-brand, they want to copy it still. So, yeah, it's just called luncheon. A luncheon loaf.
A simulation inside a simulation.
Hallelujah. It's all circular, That's what I love off-brand products, just the names that they try to think of. Like, what's the Mountain Dew Shasta? Mountain Rush?
No, it's
Or it's like Great Bay Sparkle?
it's something really stupid. It's like 2 synonyms of mountain and dew.
Yeah, it's got to be like, oh, no, it's like Ridge.
Yeah.
Sparkle Ridge or some shit.
Something like that. Yeah, something stupid.
That's my favorite part about capitalism.
Yeah?
Is these other brands trying to copy bigger brands and just how they kind of go in that gray area of, it's the same color scheme and it's got a similar name, but it's not the same product, okay? It tastes kind of different.
Around here, we got generic store brands. I feel like I get them all confused because there's Good and Gather, and then there's Great Value, and then there's what's Cashwise? It also has good in it.
It's Everyday Essential, isn't it?
Oh yes, Everyday Essentials.
Everyday Essential, baby.
What's essential to your everyday?
Oh, well, what is essential? I love waking up, having a nice cold can of RC0. That's essential. That's what I like to wake up with. And then just, my faith in God is very essential. I wake up with my can of RC and go to the east, put my rug out, and, just kind of pray. Pray with my rug out.
Sure.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that Jesus didn't go anywhere.
I don't know if I said that, but his name... Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, he is still here.
Right.
Because they didn't say his name.
My question then is, where is Jesus?
Jesus?
Yeah.
Well, he's dead.
So is he in heaven?
Yeah, we don't know. Probably.
Do you believe in heaven?
Yeah, sure. Sometimes.
Sometimes?
Yeah.
About how much of the time, ratio-wise, would you say you believe in heaven?
Say, 5 out of 7 days of the week.
5 out of 7 days?
Yeah, at least, minimum.
Do you believe in heaven on the weekend?
There's no particular day that I don't. It's kind of just depends how you're feeling that day, right? It could be a Monday, it could be a Thursday. Hell, it could be half a Thursday and half a Friday. And then half of 2 other days, so it adds up to 2 days.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I just think whatever you think the Sabbath is, Saturday or Sunday, I would hope that you feel most holy on those days.
Well, here's the thing with the Sabbath.
Uh-huh.
Didn't happen. So...
God didn't take a break?
Nope. See, God never stopped working, right? This whole idea that he takes breaks and shit, that's such a human... I think that comes from, the Greeks. The gods were very human, and, and when they were hating on the Christians, they thought, wow, that's stupid. Why would your God not take a break? Let's put that on there. So that actually came from Greeks, because God doesn't stop working. God never stopped working.
You're just supposing that now.
What, supposing that?
Yeah.
It's the damn truth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. God never stopped working.
So what did he do on the seventh?
Genesis was a mistranslation.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from the Greeks.
Ah.
Because the Greek imposed that idea on there because they felt their gods needed to be human. Right? Well, God's not human.
So what did God do on the seventh day then?
Fucking continued working.
Yeah, but what did he do?
Everything. He probably was just looking up, making sure shit was right, Quality checking.
Oh, it's a quality check day.
Yeah, quality check. yeah, it's quality check day.
It's like, I'm going to make light, and then 7 days later,
I'm going to make sure the light's still working.
Right.
I'll make sure it didn't turn to darkness.
So let's see, on the fourth or fifth day, he made animals, right?
Yeah, something like that.
So,
it could have been half of the fourth day and half of the fifth day.
I feel like he could have quality controlled mosquitoes out of there.
Well, you see, the thing about mosquitoes are man-made.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really.
I didn't know that.
No, I didn't either until I learned about it.
What collection of humans, what group or organization is responsible for mosquitoes?
Mosquitoes? Well, I hate to brag on the Greeks so much, but, when those things are talking about the labyrinth and minotaurs and sylphs and fairies and all that, Mosquitoes were sylphs and fairies and fae, and, they've existed for a long time.
And Greeks are responsible for creating them through their mythology?
Well, no. Their mythology just proves that they've been around for a long time. We don't actually know who made them. It was probably Neanderthals or something. But they've got the quintessential portions, there's evidence. Look at them.
Look at them.
Look at them. They're awful. They're terrible.
Uh-huh.
They're menaces. And we know God don't make that shit, right?
Yeah, God isn't responsible for any evil.
No, because God's not evil.
Right.
Yeah, that's a Greek thing.
So
gods are evil.
So if God created, the world, do you think the world contains evil?
Well, yeah, of course.
So where does it come from?
It comes from us.
Well, God created us, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah.
So do you think, I suppose then you think that, parents aren't responsible for their offspring's evil actions?
That's correct, yeah. Why should they be punished for the sins of the father, right?
Why did God create humans to contain evil, though?
Well, when you bring that up, maybe I'm thinking, maybe his quality control wasn't that good. I hate to be that kind of guy and say God isn't almighty and great, but maybe the Greeks were onto something,
Maybe he should have taken that day to rest.
I think he probably should have, because maybe his overzealousness had him overlooked some things. Maybe when he was checking the light to see if it worked, oops, evil. It's an honest mistake, though. That's one thing I forgive God. God forgives us, so I'll forgive him.
That's very generous of you.
It's expected of me. I'm an Eastern Orthodox Catholic Jew, Russian.
That's an interesting theological idea that you just posed, that evil is God's mistake.
That's right. Yeah. No, it's the damn truth. Right? That's how I assert it, if it's real.
So as things proceed through God's plan,
Well, that's another thing, dude. God's plan ended after 7 days.
oh really?
Yeah, he was commissioned, actually.
By whomst?
We don't know that. That's something that we'll know when we're dead. Maybe. We don't know, though. But yeah, he was commissioned by some kind of other entity or other kind of thought.
Zoroaster, perhaps?
Ooh, maybe. This could be the spaghetti monster, too. Who knows? But yeah, he was commissioned to make us in the universe, and, it's just one of many. It's just one of many.
So other universes have other gods?
Yeah, it could be. Maybe they just came to be, but we know ours is from God, and that's all we can say for now.
Or maybe if God's commission, maybe he, spent 7 days on our universe and then...
Yeah, and kind of fucked off to 7 days on the other one.
Yeah.
Could be. Maybe all universes just take 7 days with no rest. I have to, really punctuate that.
How much do you think he takes breaks between each universe?
Possibly, but I couldn't see why. Actually, I suppose I could. We don't want him to overlook things like evil or mosquitoes.
Imagine other universes just don't have evil because, he
Yeah,
he's better rested.
Yeah, you learn from us.
He wasn't cramming.
Yeah, no, yep.
He didn't get a break between the previous universe and ours.
Yeah. No, I like the idea that God is now, he's not rushed anymore. He's not upset. He's not anxious. He's chill, right?
He's just a worker.
He's just a worker, And all those other universes, they're great. They're flourishing, and I love that for them. I'm not gonna say it's because it's a shame that he missed ours, but we're just, hand we're dealt. We just deal with it, Do with it what we will.
Do with it what we will.
Do with it what we will.
Who's your favorite founding father?
Oh, the founding fathers. Oh, buddy. Oh, who are they? Oh, Jefferson. Yep,
The slave fucker?
absolutely. Why do you think he's my favorite? Jealous.
You jealous of white men owning black people and then having sex with them?
No, I'm jealous of all that black booty he was getting, dude. I don't care how he got it. But he was getting it. And then he was probably yelling about Locke and the Leviathan and shit when he was doing it, too.
Oh, yeah?
That was their big thing, British philosophy and all that.
And all that.
And all that bag of slavery, booty, fucking Leviathans,
I was talking to Dead 2 the other day, and I asked him what his favorite and least favorite thing about sex is, and he says, getting there. I suppose it's easier to get there if you own the person.
Well, it's just one of the many advantages, I'm sure.
The many advantages of slavery.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I actually just heard about, I was listening to this video, or I'm sorry, my wax cylinder, actually. And they were talking about how Oklahoma has like a panhandle that they got from Texas.
Right.
Because at the time Texas became a state or something, or maybe it was after the Civil War. Anyway, they wanted to keep slavery, but the federal government was like, actually you can only have slaves beneath the whatever parallel. And that little piece of Texas was stuck above the parallel, so they couldn't have slaves there. So they're like, well, God damn it, we want slaves so bad, we'll just get rid of that piece of land. And for like 30 years, it was just a lawless little piece of land until they got attached to Oklahoma for some godforsaken reason. I don't know why, but yeah, I just find that very amusing.
Just fuck that panhandle if we can't have slaves.
Yeah, I'm going to cut my nose off to spite the face, dude.
Panhandle of freedom.
Yep. Well, not anymore. It's part of Oklahoma now. So now it's a home of measles and, I don't know, divorced dads or something.
Divorced dads and measles.
And whiskey.
Whiskey.
Where Tim Burton whiskey's from.
I wouldn't know.
Listen, Tim Burton is a placeholder for the actual whiskey brand I'm thinking of. You know what I'm thinking of. You worked in that side of the world.
Jack Daniels?
Jack Daniels. Yeah, there we go.
That's Tennessee bourbon.
Fuck. Well, you see, you knew your stuff.
That's
what I was going for.
I worked in a liquor store for 6 years.
Yep, and that's why I had entrusted you with the question. The Tim Burton placeholder for, was it Jack Daniels? You said Jack Daniels, Tennessee, not Oklahoma. Irrelevant. Stop talking about it. We're done. We're done talking about Jack Daniels.
Now I think it's maybe Kentucky.
Well, Jack Daniels is whiskey, right? Kentucky's bourbon.
Jack Daniels is bourbon.
What? What? Isn't it all the same shit? Isn't it all just depend like champagne, like
Yeah.
right?
The only exception is maybe Scotch because it has peat moss in it.
Okay, that's where I want to fucking die,
Yeah.
in a fucking peat bog.
Oh.
Yeah, I want to be preserved in a peat bog. That'd be sick as hell. So some kind of, I don't know, some ancient bird people or something can dig me up and go, we know what this guy ate. He had some Taco Bell in him.
Ancient bird people
Yeah,
in the future.
yeah. Maybe it's part of another universe that God made, and they'd been there for a while,
Oh, sure.
They
Invent inter-universal travel.
Yeah, but only through peat bogs. So as they're traveling out through the peat bog, they find me and they go, oh, look at this guy. Isn't this wild? Too bad we've seen enough of these. Into the garbage.
Do you even know the difference between a swamp and a bog?
Yeah, it has to do with like the acidity of the water, right? I believe the bogs are more alkaline than a swamp, and the swamp has more vegetation.
In a bog, you're preserved. In a swamp, you decompose.
Oh yeah, I suppose that makes sense. But that has to do with the type of the water, right? The acidity of the water. You just decompose in a swamp, man. Fuck swamps. Oh, sorry.
Dodging a small child on the walking track here.
Yeah, he was going crazy. I think he's drunk, honestly.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think little kids just walk like that.
I don't know. Not where I'm from.
Yeah? They walk very soberly where you're from?
Oh, yeah. They got their hands behind their backs, chest out, shoulders back, like they've been, beat a couple times.
Right.
Which I don't think is wrong, because it makes them walk better.
You think physical punishment for children, good thing?
Yes.
You beat your kids?
I don't have any kids to beat.
That's unfortunate for you.
It's also unfortunate for those kids because now they're going to be walking all drunk.
The kids you don't have are going to be walking poorly because you don't hit them?
Yeah, see, if that kid was my kid, he'd be walking like a freaking Nazi scientist.
Yes, the perfect ambulatory experience, the Nazi scientist.
Yeah, I remember seeing a bunch of those guys back in Eastern
They
Europe.
did a lot of things that were bad. They did one thing really well, though.
Yeah, they gave research over to the United States.
I was going to say walking well. But
Oh, yes. Well, that's how they figured it out. That's how they got to walk so good.
that was their main research
Which
topic.
did not happen during World War II.
Wait, so Nazis are real?
Yes, but they didn't happen during World War II.
When did it? What? Can you expound on that?
Yeah, Cuban Missile Crisis.
Cuban Missile Crisis. Did the Cold War? Is Cold War real?
They actually called the Warm War. Still going on. The blood's still warm, still going, still pumping. Just without Nazis.
How many wars is the United States active in right now?
Active in right now? Who knows, dude? Who knows? You think every country that was ever founded, we probably had something to do with it?
I've seen it estimated at about 110.
That's it? I get in that many wars every day.
Oh yeah, are you a
A warmonger.
are you a confrontational person?
No. Absolutely not.
How then are you starting all these wars?
People are so sensitive nowadays, bunch of snowflakes. I just walk like a Nazi and they get upset, It's fucking bullshit.
Your hand out like that? The Roman salute?
Listen, it's good for your posture, okay? It actually relieves a lot of stress on your shoulder. So it's actually better to switch.
And the swastika is just like it means
It's just a
peace.
flourish. It's just a flourish. Just a little garnish. You don't need it. You don't need it to walk.
A little sprig of garlic, it's a little sprig of parsley or whatever is the same.
Exactly. Because it's like, here's the plate. It's nice and flat. Looks good. And
It's white.
it's white. Oh, hey. Preferably white. Doesn't mean it can't be white.
You don't want to go to a 5-star Michelin restaurant and get a black plate.
Well, why not? Maybe it's part of their aesthetic. Maybe they have a white swastika or white parsley to go nice with that black plate.
Bleached parsley.
Yeah.
Albino parsley.
That's actually kind of cool.
Actually, I do really...
Can plants be albino?
Yeah, why not?
Hell yeah, dude. I like that.
Just lacking pigment. I really want a black plate now. I want a whole collection of black plates, because black plates matter.
Black plates matter. I want them to bring back uranium plates. But don't make it safe.
Like not depleted.
Like I want a time limit on how fast I can eat my food. It's like if I don't eat my food, it's going to be highly radiated, and I'm probably going to die. So I'm encouraged to eat much faster.
Sure.
Yeah, I think we won't have a lot of restaurant waits. You don't want to have to wait in a restaurant very long.
Wait in the restaurant.
It might be a little bit of the radiation, but we won't talk about that.
We're regressing.
Yeah, we're regressing. But yeah, could you imagine how quick drive-through lines would be if your shit was radiated?
I cannot.
It's like, oh, my steering wheel is made out of uranium. Well, I guess I've only got like 5 minutes before I'm fucking dead. I better hurry up. Or actually, you know what? I just won't go out. How about that? I'll just eat at home. Holy shit! I think we just solved the
Cuban Missile Crisis.
Cuban Missile. Whoa! That was solved long ago, dude. That's what John F. Kennedy died for.
That's what we do on this podcast. We solve problems that were already solved.
But we have better solutions.
We ask questions that everyone already knows the answer to.
But we have better answers. Listen, man. God gave us the ability to reason, and it's our job to reasonize. Reasonize. And sometimes you reasonize later than somebody else, but you just so happen to reasonize something better than somebody else. So, checkmate atheists.
Checkmate atheists. God gave us reason.
God gave us a reason to reason.
Enlightenment period, it was God.
It's all God, dude.
God did it first.
Yep, God did it first, and then the United States took over.
How do you think God designed the entire world in 7 days without reason? Logic.
Well, because he did it before.
Right.
We aren't the first universe he's made, so he's got that shit memorized. And he thought, what would make this one actually really cool? I'm going to put reason in there.
Do you think God creates worlds more like a potter at a spinning wheel, where it's kind of like, you might do it the same way a bunch of times, but you're not sitting here like a blueprint, Or do you think he does it more like an architect, where he has like this very rigid plan that he does step by step a very certain way, like a mechanical way?
I like to think he works for like General Mills, and they're like, listen, we need a paper airplane tutorial on the back of a cereal box. Something kids can copy or follow through. And he's like, okay, I guess. So really, he just made us from the instructions on the back of a cereal box. Because we don't know who commissions them or why they do, but we know that, it's not always great. So it had to have been some kind of stipulation somewhere to allow that evil to happen. Maybe they were like, God, just, that's fine. The quota was 7 days. That's fine. You got that in there. That's fine. We can fix it later. So see ya.
When do you think the first patch for the world will come out?
I don't like that terminology. That's cringe. Ain't no patch. We're fucked. The way we are, dude. There's nothing you can do about it.
The development team has moved on to other projects.
Like I said, they've got other universes to tend to. We can make like fan patches, I guess, if we want to, but
We're just a forgotten part of their past and like a Walmart bargain bin that no one's going to buy.
Yep. Whoever commissioned it, they got what they wanted, and they're doing with it what they will.
Some like retro streamer on Twitch that has like 17 followers is the only one who plays it.
Yep, exactly.
Knows everything about it.
Oh, 100% though, but they're not good at coding or, I guess, following the instructions on the back of a cereal box, so we don't get updates.
I feel like I could collect a bunch of cereal boxes without knowing anything about the different projects on the back.
Probably. And maybe they don't even have projects on the back anymore. Maybe that's the artifact of a bygone era. Maybe it never happened. I don't know.
I feel like I just bought a box of cereal and
Glaze holes?
glaze holes.
Yeah, the glaze holes ones.
I've not.
They're like little, we figured out the perfect ratio to encapsulate this fucking cereal and sugar. It's a circle. It's a sphere. Look at the math. They even have the math on the box. And you know what? I can't fucking proofread that shit. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I guess it could be right.
I like peanut butter, like Reese's peanut butter puffs in there. They're circles.
Man, fuck Reese's peanut butter cups.
What?
I'm sorry, not cups, but puffs. I love the cups, not the puffs.
I like the puffs a little more than the cups.
Do you? You a puff over cup guy?
Yeah, unless it's dark chocolate.
Ooh, the dark chocolate cups. Those are really good. Have you had
Justin's?
Ooh, yeah, those organic ones?
Yeah.
Those are pretty good, too. I like those. A little pricey, but they're worth it.
They're worth it for sure. Because, I feel like if I pay a little bit more for my candy, I won't buy too much of it.
Yeah, well, he also wouldn't buy a lot of it if it was radiated. So, you bring back uranium.
Bring back uranium, nuclear power.
Yeah. I think nuclear bombs were the worst thing to ever be invented because it
Hot take.
Yep, hot take, because it takes away from other better uses for uranium, like our steering wheel, our plates, our confectionery wrappers. Just irradiate all of it.
Irradiate all of it.
Yeah, like how much every day I wish I could have been one of those women during World War I, where they were making those watches so they could see in the trenches, and they had uranium in them, or was it? It was some kind of radiation material. But yeah, the women, they had all it was in a powder form, and they would just put it on their faces, and they're like, oh, you look so cute. Yeah, well, 3 years later, they lost all their teeth and their face melted.
You wish you were a woman?
Yes. So I could work in one of those watch factories to be exposed, to be one with the radiation.
You only want to be a woman during the World War I period.
Yes.
You wouldn't want to be a woman in the 21st century.
Absolutely not.
Why is that?
Well, because they don't
Radiate their faces.
They don't radiate their faces anymore. I mean, I guess I'd be a woman if I could work in a nuclear facility. That'd be kind of cool, Maybe be around, what was it, Oklahoma? That one place that had where the nuclear bomb could have gone off, where they fucked up and they died. Just like, oops, dropped something, big flash of light. Or was that the Demon Corps? You know what I'm talking about.
I don't.
Oh, well, ask ChatGPT, I'll tell you.
I'll do that. Yeah, I think that question's worth 3 water bottles.
Yeah, this is all just second monitor content I was listening to. So, yeah. I think radiation is great, though. They should not take down nuclear facilities. Germany is wrong.
Can I say something right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're radiant right now.
Oh, thank you. Maybe it's working. I do like to go outside a lot, as you can tell from the color of my skin.
Yeah, you're pretty red.
Yeah. That's the sun. Kind of took over for God when he left.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What do you feel about sun worship? Sun worship?
Yeah. It's not the worst thing to worship.
What is the worst thing to worship?
Oh, shit. All right. It starts with an A, ends with an H.
Oh, boy.
What was it? What? Yeah. You guys will know. You Muslims out there will know.
Unfortunately, now, especially now, though, well.
Huh?
Unfortunately, Dead 2 is a bit of an Islamophobe.
What up? And then the second worst one begins with the J. Oh, boy, I'm thinking of Genova. This is not Genova.
Genova starts with a G.
What, Genova from Final Fantasy 7?
Yeah.
I thought it was, no, it's a J.
Ask ChatGPT.
ChatGPT. It is a J. Oh, thank you, ChatGPT. But Yahweh. That's what I was thinking of, Yahweh. Yahweh's a J. No, it's a Y.
It's a Y.
They're all bad.
It's not Yahweh.
It's a Yahweh, man.
Show us Yahweh.
Yeah, so is Joey. Yeah, no, I think that, those are all bad. Actually, worshiping any kind of incarnation of God is bad because the motherfucker's gone. That's why he gave us Jesus. And the Son.
Jesus and the Son.
Yep.
Speaking of Greece, when Christianity was being implemented into Greek culture, there are reliefs of Apollo on the cross. They basically taught Christianity to the Greeks by using existing Greek gods. And I believe they did this in Rome as well. Existing Greek gods, and just saying this happened to them. Zeus had a son that was Apollo, and Apollo died for your sins. Yeah. And so there's there's this one pretty famous relief of Apollo being crucified with Zeus above him and Atlas holding the world below them.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's freaking awesome. It doesn't surprise me that a lot of these fucking Christians, copy that shit, especially with Greeks meddling in the Bible about, mosquitoes and taking lunch breaks.
My primary point was that Jesus, you could say that Jesus worship and sun worship is the same because Apollo is a god of the sun.
Yeah, if you're Greek, I guess, but this is real life, buddy. This isn't some fairy tale bullshit. All right? It's Jesus and the sun.
I guess I was trying to agree with you, but if you're going to be antagonistic about it, we can move on.
Good.
I think we're gonna move on.
Pissed off now, buddy.
Well, maybe we'll just.
Yeah, my skin ain't red from the sun anymore, buddy. It's red from a high blood pressure. I'm fucking angry.
Call you Harrison Ford because you're the Red Hulk.
Well, thank you. I love Harrison Ford. I thought he was great in that movie.
Yeah.
You know, when he went, grrr, bunga bunga. I'm Red Hulk. Yeah, I'm Red Hulk. I'm hulking out. Ooh. Yeah, that was great. Actually, I fucking hated that movie. The movie fucking sucked. It was so bad. Did you see it?
No, my mom said it wasn't very good. I had no interest in it.
Yeah, good, because you definitely didn't. I fell asleep for like 20 minutes of that movie. And I think I'm better for it. Just like the first Avengers movie, I fell asleep for half that movie. I'm better for it. Because that movie fucking sucked.
Did you like Isaac, the old super soldier, the black guy, where they buried his story because of racism? They didn't want a black super soldier.
Isn't he already the super? Isn't he the new Captain America?
No. The new Captain America is black, but there's an older character that he goes to his house. He's an old black man named Isaac, and he was a super soldier in World War II. And
He's in the movie.
yeah.
He was in the Red Hulk movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What about him now?
Did you like that part of it?
No,
My mom liked that part of it.
I didn't like any part of that movie except Red Hulk because he was like, "I'm Red Hulk. Ooh, I'm hulking out." And I thought that was cool. And
For sure.
Before he'd Hulk out, he'd be like, have a aneurysm or some shit, and it was cool. Harrison Ford stumbling through a submarine in the air.
It's like Biden mode.
Yeah, he's going by. It's like, whoa, that guy's Biden, dude. Oh, I love Biden.
What caused Harrison Ford to become the Red Hulk in that movie?
Oh, beats the shit out of me. I don't fucking remember. I fell asleep for like 20 minutes of that movie, dude. That was probably the part that I needed to see to know that question. But I think it had something to do with, oh, that's right. Yeah, he was getting like some kind of serum or some shit to help not make his heart not explode or something.
Wow, they literally cast Harrison Ford as Biden.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was a good choice. I was like, wow, I didn't know this was political. But I welcomed it because
I didn't know this was political. This Captain America series with like victim of racism, old super soldier, and the president of the United States as the main antagonist.
Yeah, it was news to me too. I was like, what the hell? I thought this was comic book yeehaw fiction shit, you know? But then it got real, and then it got political.
When did Marvel get woke?
When they weren't sleeping anymore, I guess. I don't know what woke them up, though. What do you think woke Marvel up?
Let's see. First Marvel movie. What was the first big Marvel movie? There was Thor and Iron Man. Thor was pretty early.
Yeah, I think Iron Man was really the big one. And then Captain America.
Right. I mean, Captain America has always been pretty political.
I mean, I guess if you want to look at it like that, I don't know how you'd see that, but, you know, we've all got our own opinions and stuff, I guess.
I mean, the first Iron Man movie, they're the American weapons company is selling their weapons to terrorists.
Yeah.
Which is pretty corrupt.
Yeah. It's not political, though. I don't know. I stand by that statement.
All right.
It's not political.
Well, this interview is about 3 times as long as our normal interview, so I'm going to stop it there. Any last words?
Yeah, God be with you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. I want to thank you for your time, Deadass. It was good talking to you. Peace. Inshallah, my brother.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, Habibi.
And inshallah to all of you listening at home. I have my cat here. I'm kissing my cat. He's standing on my desk. My little son is balancing himself on my chair, staring at me, wondering what I'm doing. Some big episode plans coming up. If you want episodes early, subscribe to the Patreon. We are Dead Culture over on Patreon. If you want to email the podcast, it's still deadassradio@outlook.com. I should probably make a new email. I'm not sure I haven't logged into that email in like 16 years, so I'm not sure I still have the password or anything. I'm going to make a new email. But if you want to email deadassradio@outlook.com, you still can. Just not 100% sure I'll look at it. But you know, if you want to like keep your deep dark secrets, maybe use it like as a personal journal or a blog or something. You know, it's I'm not going to look at it. So it'll be just your little secret for yourself, little secret thingy for your little secret for yourself. But yeah, I think that's all. I think that's all for this week. This episode is for sure more than long enough. 55 minutes and 10 seconds and counting. Oh, baby just fell over. Goodbye.